I am not happy at all that I have to review this awful movie. But anyways, guys, this is Cole. Welcome back to another movie review. Unfortunately, today we got to do a rant. And today's movie I'm going to be ranting on is a Minecraft movie that came out earlier this year. Now, this is a 2025 movie based on a very popular kids video game that's been around since 2009, and I will admit I do have nostalgia for the video game because I did grow up playing Minecraft at a neighbor's house, and Minecraft is one of the highest selling games of all time. Now, most people know what it is, but for those who don't know, essentially, Minecraft was this video game that came out in 2009 where you basically play as a character named Steve, and you can basically build anything you want. Like, it is not a story-driven game at all whatsoever. It's just a game where you play as a guy named Steve, and you have these blocks, and you can build what you want. So it's a pretty simple game, and Minecraft is one of the highest-selling games. You can get it on systems like the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, I even think PlayStation 5. I know it's also on Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and even the Nintendo Switch. And again, I will admit, I do have nostalgia for the video game because I did grow up playing this game as a kid. Now, granted, I did not have a PlayStation system growing up, but my dad, I used to go to my dad's neighbor's house a lot when I was a kid, and their son, Alex, he had a PS3, so I used to play Minecraft a lot on there, and it's fun. I like it for what it is. Now, do I think it's one of the greatest games ever made? No, but do I like it for what it is? Yeah. And I do remember I remember multiple years back hearing talks of them making a Minecraft movie, and I was like, okay, maybe. But then time went on and I started to lose interest, and this movie was pretty much screwed from the beginning because this movie suffered a lot of production problems. In fact, the Minecraft movie, this movie was announced all the way back in 2016. It was supposed to come out in 2017, then it got delayed to 2018, then 2019, then it was delayed to 2020, then COVID happened, then it was delayed to 2022, and then it was delayed to this year, and then 3 years ago, they announced that the movie was coming, but instead of making it animated like a Minecraft movie should be, they decided to make it live action, and yeah, it completely shows because this movie's an absolute piece of garbage. Now, when I first saw the trailers to this movie, I thought this movie looked like absolute garbage. I mean, the CGI looked really bad. And again, Minecraft is the type of video game, if you're gonna do it as a movie, you cannot do it as live action. Like Mario, for example, Mario's the type of video game property, if you're gonna make it into a movie, it works best animated, as opposed to live action. This movie? No. This movie sucked. And really? This movie made $1 billion? Why? Really? This of all movies is a box office hit. There's so much better movies that should have been big hits. Like, okay, if you want to talk about in terms of some of my favorite movies, one of my favorite movies of all time is the 1993 action movie, Last Action Hero, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Great movie. It was a box office bomb when it released because it released the same week Jurassic Park came out, which probably didn't help. And granted, I do think Jurassic Park is a better movie, but I still do really like Last Action Hero. Great movie. In terms of other movies I enjoyed that were box office bombs, Volcano from 1997 with Tommy Lee Jones. Is it a realistic movie? No. But is it a fun movie? Yes. Dante's Peak, a fun disaster movie with Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton. Again, is it realistic? No, but it's fun. Dread from 2012. This is a movie that did receive positive reviews from critics and audiences, and I enjoyed this movie. Sadly, it bombed due to poor marketing. Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage. Fun little horror movie where he beats up animatronics. So it's kind of like Nicolas Cage's version of Five Nights at Freddy's. In fact, but I would say this was honestly much better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And I even enjoyed the 2014 action movie, The November Man with Pierce Brosnan. But if you want to talk about kids' movies I enjoyed that bombed at the box office, Rise of the Guardians from 2013. I rather like that movie. Sadly, that movie bombed. Megamind. I enjoyed that movie. Sadly, that movie did not do so great. But this, of all things, makes $1 billion? Really? And again, look, I understand from a certain point because, again, Minecraft is one of the most popular video games of all time. I mean, the game came out 16 years ago, and still to this day, many kids still play Minecraft. So, and look, when the trailers for this movie came out, the trailers got so much backlash. The trailers had a lot more dislikes than likes. And as much as I wanted this movie to bomb, I knew it wasn't going to happen because Minecraft is just too big of a property to not fail, you know? Same with Barbie, but... So, what is the plot? To this awful movie, Minecraft? So, the plot of this movie is as follows. Four misfits are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal in the overworld, a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. So that's basically the plot synopsis to this movie. And again, this movie, I was hoping at best that this movie would just be okay. Like, at the very least, I was hoping this movie would be just okay. No, I don't think this movie was okay. I think this movie sucked. And even in terms of video game movies, like, I personally thought that Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I thought that movie was significantly better than this. I even did not mind the animated Mario movie that came out in 2023. I even did not mind that movie. I honestly thought that was one of the better video game movies, to be honest. The 1995 Mortal Kombat movie I enjoy. Again, is it a perfect movie? No, it's got its flaws. Yes, the movie's PG-13. It doesn't go with the R rating of the games, and the CG doesn't hold up the best. But I think the reason that movie works is because, aside from those two little nitpicks, I think it gets a lot of aspects about Mortal Kombat right, and it is one of the better video game movies, if you ask me. It's not, it's not like the game, not exactly like the game, but I even enjoyed that 2018 movie Rampage with Dwayne Johnson. So there are good video game movies out there, but unfortunately, most video game movies suck. And while this movie is not quite as bad as some of the other video game movies I've seen, I still did not like this movie. And it sucks because this movie does have an actor who I do like as an actor in this, that of course being Jack Black. And, again, I like Jack Black as an actor, but I hate to say it, he was not the right choice for Steve. I thought that he honestly sucked in this movie. In fact, I honestly think that this movie is one of Jack Black's worst performances. I would say it was his second worst performance behind Claptrap in the Borderlands movie, which granted, this movie's not as bad as that movie, but it's not saying much. But let's just get into this rant so I don't have to talk about this movie for too long. So, the movie starts off where we are introduced to the character Steve, played by Jack Black, but at the beginning of the movie, it starts with him as basically a kid, and like the adult Steve is narrating over it, like that, narrating that he's Steve, and like, he wants to go in the tunnel mines, but, the workers won't really let him. And then we cut to him in an office and stuff like that. And again, I like Jack Black as an actor in most stuff, but I just did not like him here. Like, I honestly think this is one of his worst performances. I think that Steve Carell would have been a better casting choice for Steve if they had to make a Minecraft movie, but that's just me. And then not long after that, we are introduced to a character named Jared, or whatever his name is, played by Jason Momoa, or as Rambo Rap for Life calls him, Jason Mamma Mia. I do not like him. I know this is a very controversial opinion, but I gotta be honest. I personally do not like Jason Momoa as an actor. I never have. I thought he sucked as Aquaman. I've never been a big fan of Aquaman as a character, and even though I did like the 2021 sci-fi movie Dune, D-U-N-E, even though I did like that movie, I thought for the little bit he was in that movie, I thought he wasn't that great in that movie. And of the movies I've seen, this might honestly be his worst performance, if you ask me. But guess what? Jason Momoa plays a bum in this movie. He basically plays a bum that basically runs a retro game store, and he's also takes out trash, and people around town call him the Trash Man. Very fitting, because I do not think he's a good actor. Now, granted, I do not hate Jason Momoa as a person. In fact, from the little bits and pieces I've seen of him in like interviews, he actually, even though I don't like him as an actor, he actually does seem like a rather cool guy based on some of the interviews I've seen. But just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about him. There's just something about him that I don't like as an actor, and this movie didn't really change my mind on it. But anyways, you have 4 characters who I already forgot their names to, other than Trash Man or Garrett, played by Jason Mamma Mia. You have these 2 kids, a sister and a brother. And the sister was played by Emma Myers, and I will say, she was probably the only good actor I would say Emma Myers was the only good actor in this movie. I felt like of all the actors, she tried the best she could with the material she was given, but even she can't save this movie. But like I said, we're introduced to the brother and the sister, and the brother is basically, everyone considers him a nerd, nobody takes him seriously, and there's a part where early on in the movie, the main kid character, he decides to create a science experiment. He basically makes a jetpack and he attaches it to like a fake skeleton, and the class is outside, including the teacher, watching the science experiment. And at first the project does go successfully, where it launches in the sky, but then it basically curves sideways and it slams into the building that his sister works at. His sister, played by Emma Myers, who again I thought was one of the only few redeeming factors to this terrible movie. And then the teacher reacts like, I'm gonna act like I didn't see anything. And another thing, the direction, I thought that the direction in this movie by Jared Hess was honestly really bad. And it sucks, because I actually do rather like Jared Hess as a director. I do think he is a good, talented director. He directed the 2004 comedy movie Napoleon Dynamite, one of my personal favorite comedy movies of all time. He also directed the 2006 Jack Black movie Nacho Libre, which I will admit, I actually do rather like Nacho Libre. I do think that is a really funny movie. Not quite as good as Napoleon Dynamite, but I do like that movie. Yeah. When it was first announced that Jared Hess was doing it, I was like, okay, that might work. I mean, I did like, I was like, okay, director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre doing a Minecraft movie, that could work. Sadly, it didn't. And honestly, this does not feel like a movie he directed at all. It feels like, it honestly feels like somebody else directed this movie and just slapped his name on there just to get a paycheck. Jared Hess has lost his touch as a director. But anyways, let's just get back to this review and get it done as soon as I can, because I don't want to talk about this for too much longer. But yeah, like I said, the kid is basically, trying to do his science experiment. It doesn't go right, and basically the principal says that you have to call your parents. But basically earlier on in the movie, the kid basically gave food to a Trash Man, played by Jason Mamma Mia, and he basically coached Jason Mamma Mia saying, I need you to pretend to be my uncle. He says, sorry, I don't do that. To pick me up from school, he says, sorry, I don't do that anymore. And the kid's like, oh, I got $26, and that gets his attention right away, and he just goes along with it. And then basically what happens is, so the kid and Jason Mamma Mia, I'm going to keep referring to him as that because I don't like him as an actor. So these characters are so memorable, I can't even tell you their names unless I look them up. That's how memorable these characters are. But anyways, the kid and Jason Mamma Mia, they basically come across this blue crystal, and they come across this blue cube crystal thing, and there's a note that says, whatever you do under any circumstances, do not put the box inside. And like idiots, the main characters do, but then the kid's sister, played by Emma Roberts, and one of her friends, they get trapped along the whole situation, and they get sucked from their world to the Minecraft world built out of blocks, basically. And then, so they're in this world, and a bunch of zombies start chasing the characters, and then Jack Black, and then Steve, the main character Steve, played by Jack Black, shows up, and he can just magically use fire out of his hands to light the zombies on fire, which, again, granted, I have played Minecraft before, and I understand what the main premise of Minecraft is. It is a rather simple game where you basically play as a character, and you have these blocks, and you build stuff, and it's not a story-based game at all. So maybe, maybe that's proof that Minecraft never needed a movie to begin with, because Minecraft is the type of game that has no story. So maybe Minecraft just should have never been made into a movie to begin with, but of course they were gonna do it anyways because money. But then yeah, so Jack Black as Steve, he basically defeats all the zombies, and the characters are like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I am Steve," and it's like, and Jack Black just hamming it up, just I didn't take his. And again, look. I understand that you're not supposed to take Minecraft seriously. I understand that, but at the very least, you can at least write the humor to make it funny. I'm sorry, I did not find a single joke in this movie funny at all. And before I get back to the review, I gotta talk about the theater reactions. Now, for those who don't know, when this movie was released on April 25th of 2025, the way audiences reacted was so immature and pathetic. And for those who don't know, you might be asking, well, what do I mean by that? Well, I forget what the first movie theater it happened at was, but people, and I'm not joking by this, multiple people who were cheering at moments in this movie, they got up, they started food fights, they threw popcorn, and they threw drinks at the movie theater screen, and they started fights, and honestly, and I am not making this up, it got so bad to the point where police officers had to escort people out the movie theaters. Like, come on, people. Now look, do not get me wrong. It is perfectly okay to, like, just, cheer in the audience when you're watching a movie. What is not okay is starting fights with people to the point to where police officers have to escort people out of movie theaters. That is ridiculous, and honestly, that is ridiculous, and also, it is so disrespectful to the movie theater employees that work hard to keep the theaters clean. And another bad thing, and I kid you not, and I was like upset hearing this. There was even a stabbing. Yes, you heard that right. There was a stabbing at a movie theater for this movie. Why? Why can people not behave at the movie theater properly? But yeah, I know I was getting off on a tangent, but that part of it's so stupid. I just had to get that off my chest. But let's get back to this review. I know this review is all over the place, but this movie's all over the place. So let's get back to this review. But then not long after that, not long after Steve, played by Jack Black, introduces himself to our three main characters. The three main characters says, "We'll just take the cube and go home." But then Steve, played by Jack Black, says, "The cube will not work. The only way to get there is to get through the Yeah, this movie's so great, I can't even remember the name of the place he said. Yeah, that's how great and memorable this movie is. But apparently, our four main characters, including Steve, so five, our five characters, they have to cross the bridge to get to a certain place to get something that they need to get home. And yeah, this movie's so memorable and great that I cannot even remember what it was. And I literally just finished watching this movie less than 30 minutes ago. That's how memorable this movie is. And my gosh, like, the CGI effects are absolutely awful in this movie. Like, now when it comes to the movie Dante's Peak, yes, I will admit, okay, does this movie have the best CGI? No, but the reason that Dante's Peak works is because it has a good story, it has good characters, and yes, like I said, the CGI has not aged the best in this movie. But you want to know what the difference is with Dante's Peak? About 85% of this movie was done with practical effects. So come on, people. If we were able to do practical effects 28 years ago, why can't we do them now? Why? But anyways, getting back to this rant on this awful movie, so yeah. Our five main characters, including Steve, played by Jack Black, who I thought was annoying in this movie, they basically go to the village and they meet the villagers. And so Steve, played by Jack Black, and Jason Mamma Mia, and all the other characters, they basically go through the village, they meet an iron golem, and they eventually get to their location, and apparently Steve, played by Jack Black, he backstabbed an entire group of evil pigs that have swords. And so one of the members of these evil pigs is sent to go after Jack Black, and guys, I know I'm stuttering a lot in my reviews all over the place, but this movie's all over the place. But getting back to this review, so this pig here used to be best friends with Steve, and he's like, sorry, there's a cringe-inducing line where he's like, "Oh, sorry I have to unalive you." I'm like, it's like, dude, we all know that you mean kill him. So why can't you say that? Look, I understand that this is a kid movie, but you know what? Even kids' movies have had elements of that before where they say that word, so why couldn't you do it here? And then later on in the movie, Steve, played by Jack Black, Jason Mamma Mia, and Emma Roberts, and all the other actors playing all the characters I don't care about, they're basically on, like, well, the main kid character, who I forgot his name, Jason Mamma Mia, and Jack Black, are basically on a mine cart. They make one of the creepers explode, pushing the cart to go forward and stuff like that, so they can basically get away from, like, not only one of the pigs with swords, and not one of the ones from earlier, but like a much bigger one. And it's like a giant that's like over 15 feet tall. And I'm like, it's been a while since I played Minecraft, but it's been years since I played Minecraft, but I can certainly tell you, I do not remember that being in the game at all. I really don't. but then later on in the movie, there's the whole stupid scene where Steve, played by Jack Black, he yells out these exact words: chicken jockey. But he yells it out super loud, and I'm like, really? And again, look. And again, not only was the whole movie theater reaction thing stupid to this, the way audiences were reacting, but the whole chicken jockey meme was so stupid and pointless. And another thing, Jared Hess, the director of this movie, and like I said, Jared Hess has made movies before I enjoy, such as Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, but he said something that honestly made me lose respect for him. Now, keep in mind, at the movie theaters, people were throwing popcorn, starting fights, and it got so bad to the point to where police had to escort people out the movie theaters, and there was even a stabbing at one of the theaters. Jared Hess had the nerve to go out on Twitter and say, "Oh, I don't understand why, people are getting in trouble for this." I'm like, really? Wow. So immature. But then later in the movie, again, these characters are so memorable. Other than Steve, I can't tell you a single thing about these other characters. So I'm just gonna call him Jason Mamma Mia. But Jason Mamma Mia, he's basically in a fighting ring. He's fighting the chicken and the baby zombie after Jack Black yells chicken jockey. And another thing that I thought was stupid is, so here's the thing. The baby zombie bites him, but somehow Jason Mamma Mia, somehow he doesn't get... Now, granted, I get this is a kid's movie and they can't show blood, but come on. I'm sure, even though it's a kid's movie, I'm sure you could at least show this in like a kid... I'm sure you could show it in a kid-appropriate fashion, but somehow after being bit, somehow Jason Mamma Mia is fine, and somehow he does not turn into a zombie. Like, how? That makes no sense, because in the movies, if you're bitten by a zombie, you become one eventually. So, whether it's over a long period of time or right away. But here's the thing. It's so confusing because this movie never once establishes that. And then near the end of the movie, and honestly, the whole ending makes absolute zero sense. So Jason Mamma Mia is literally, so Jack Black and the kid, they escape to safety, but Jason Mamma Mia, and I'm not making this up, okay guys, he is literally surrounded by pigs that are literally holding TNT. And they literally blow up the bridge. And the pigs, they're not far away from Jason Mamma Mia. Like, if I had to guess how far away the pigs are, I would say they were like about 5 feet away from Jason Momoa or Jason Mamma Mia. And here's the thing. They literally have dynamite that blows up. Like, the entire bridge blows up. So like, Jason Mamma Mia, or the Trash Man as people call him in this movie, he should be dead. He should be dead. But nope. At the end of the movie, guess what? He's alive. So I'm like, okay, this is completely stupid. Like, this is so unrealistic. And look, I gotta calm down. And look, guys, I am willing to suspend disbelief in movies. The 1990 Christmas comedy classic Home Alone, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. But let's be honest. Realistically, would the two robbers, Harry and Marv, actually survive all that torture from the traps they were going through? Absolutely not. But here's the thing. But here's the difference with Home Alone. You want to know why that movie worked? because that movie had a great story, great characters, and a great cast of actors that made it all work. And the comedy was actually funny, unlike this movie. And this movie right here, Volcano from 1997, starring Tommy Lee Jones. Is this movie realistic? No. But is it a fun movie? Yes. This, on the other hand, was not. So yeah. Look, guys, if any of you guys actually like this movie, look, guys, if any of you guys actually like this movie, that is completely fine. I do not have a problem with that at all, because at the end of the day, movie and all media is subjective. But before I give my score, are there any positives to this bad movie? I will say, I do think that of all the actors in the movie, Emma Myers was the one actress, and I mean the one, that I actually thought gave a good performance in the movie. And my final positive that I will give this movie is, even though I do not think Minecraft works in live action at all, because of the fact that you have real life people in this block world, some of the blocks in this movie do not look bad, like in terms of like structure and stuff. Like, some of it did not look bad, but most of it looks bad though. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's my rant on a Minecraft movie, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this movie a 2 out of 10, and I would recommend you avoid this movie. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my rant, and next up, we will get back to the Jurassic Park reviews with Jurassic Park 3, but until then, we'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye. This movie sucked. Bye.